27 years ago, the Fund for Protected Areas in Mexico was created as a collaboration, and very inspiring collaboration between the Mexican government and the Mexican Fund for the Conservation of Nature, through the first GF proposal that Mexico presented once it was created right after the Rio conference. It was to support 10 protected areas, and it was one donor. But 27 years later, we have that this fund has grown tenfold. It is today supporting 76 protected areas, and tonight we're going to make history happen. I have 3 people here that are just going to be delivering absolutely wonderful news. The first one here, Carlos Manuel, who deserves absolutely no more introduction, but if I remember this very well, Carlos Manuel, I understand that you are a lawyer by profession, and then you are a politician by choice, and a conservationist by heart, right? And we're speaking in English because, and that's why I'm not saying orale, because we have a lot of people from all over the world, so we understand that a lot of people are still learning Spanish, so we hope that in the next COP we can do that, you know. So Carlos Manuel started with the Payments for Ecosystem Services, part of his fame, also stopping deforestation and actually making out of protected areas what Costa Rica is very well known for. He was 3 times Minister of Environment and Energy, and now we have him at the GF, just at the helm of the GF, like leading change and speed and really looking for scale, because we really know that conservation is collaboration. Then it's my very pleasure to also present here Alicia Bárcena, who most of you already know. I know. How many Mexicans do we have here? ¡Wow! Muy bien, muy bien. Wow, wow. So I can see the excitement. Yesterday we had like the first test of this excitement, and this is because of Alicia. Yes, yes. She started as an Undersecretary of Environment in Mexico when we didn't have a Ministry of Environment yet. And then later she has taken all these roles in the United Nations. We have like really followed her through all these years. She was the head of CEPAL, the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, also ambassador of Mexico in Chile, then Foreign Affairs Minister, and today we're very proud to say that this biologist born in Mexico actually is really the leader of the environmental ministry. Thank you, Alicia, for being here. I can tell she has a lot of fun. Okay. And last but not least, we have here Greg Howell. Greg actually is an amazing person, has been all over the world, and of course Latin America is at his heart. And so he's been in Guatemala, in Honduras, in El Salvador, also in Afghanistan, Africa, so he understands this community. And what he was telling me this morning is that one thing that really lies in his heart is the Selva Maya. Maria Jose will completely agree with her native Guatemala, and how much we have to really work for those last parts of forests that we still have, working hand in hand by communities. He actually was one of the people that started and was through the pandemic helping this, support of the investment in this region. Greg, thank you so much for being here, and I know you have some good news for us today. So we're going to go through the journey of how GF has gone to establishing this Global Biodiversity Framework Fund. Then we're going to look at the vision of Mexico for the 30 or 30. Then how USAID is joining this wonderful journey and adventure. And then stay tuned, because we have a little bit of a surprise at the very end of the event. So Carlos Manuel, if you can share with us this journey.
¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva! Muchísimas gracias a todos. I'm super, super happy to be here with my dear friend, which, 30 years ago we were 2 young kids in Rio 92 and trying to implement Agenda 25 and 21, yes, Agenda 21, and that took you to live in my town in San Jose, where we shared the early implementation, early ratification of the Rio Conventions, and then the Agenda 21, which was the charter for our generation. And it is very interesting because when we see the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, it's an improved version of Agenda 21. So I'm delighted to be here, happy. Let me tell you something that people probably doesn't realize, and Alicia and myself, we were part of that. When we went to Rio and we agreed on the conventions, 2/3 of protected areas were located in the global north, and just 1/3 protected areas were located where biodiversity is concentrated, which is in the global south. And guess what? Through the GEF, through multilateral efforts, to the implementation of the conventions, to the effort of every single country in the aspiration to implement the Rio Conventions, we've been able to flip it out in a very interesting manner. So now 2/3 of protected areas are in developing countries. Nevertheless, out of those protected areas in the global south, 2/3 of them are paper parks in the ocean and in the land. You know, no management plan, no budget, no rangers, no infrastructure. So that's the challenge that we have in front of us. We need to really work and improve management of protected areas. As we look into the future, we strongly believe that there are new elements that are extremely important. Back in the day, I was tweeting today that, you know, bragging about the fact that this is my 15th CBD COP, and back in the day, it only came delegates, government delegates. There was little participation of civil society. I mean, and now look at what we have in front of us. It is impressive. It is incredible. This is a groundswell movement that nobody is going to stop. The 30% is in the center of the agreement that we achieve in Montreal, and for us at the GEF, we're in the center of this process. We received marching orders from the parties in COP15 to put together a new facility, the Global Biodiversity Framework Fund, and we embraced that challenge at the GEF Secretariat. And in a matter of a few months, 12 months, we had already an agreement on how that fund should work and operate. We tested new ways to approve projects, and that will eventually help us be more effective and impactful in the big GEF Trust Fund, where the main resources are located. By the way, the GEF has been able since Montreal to allocate $2.4 billion for the implementation of this biodiversity framework in 147 countries. We are delighted that the GBFF, the Global Biodiversity Framework Fund, is not only in improvising, innovating new ways by which we can complement with the main trust fund of the GEF, but also bringing elements that civil society expects to see. And this is why concentrating in the indigenous people and local communities is so important. What we're doing in this new facility will jump into the big funds of the GEF. And as we approach the next replenishment, the GEF will be presenting a very ambitious whole of a government, whole of a society approach. I was briefing Alicia, the minister, during lunch that the GEF is willing to accept a challenge to really mainstream biodiversity conservation within national development policies and the central government. You know, it's incredible that the GEF, even though recognizes that most of the deforestation comes from policies that begins in the Ministry of Agriculture, doesn't work with the Ministries of Agriculture. That is why I was blown out, delighted when I visited Mexico last May, and they were launching a GEF project in the Ministry of Agriculture. So I went to the Ministry of Agriculture. It was a full house. Everyone was there, and I was looking for the guys from environment, and I never saw them, which is a very good sign. The Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Agriculture is empowering in themselves with the GEF agenda. We will never, and I will conclude with this, we will never move the needle from nature negative into nature positive if the JEF only works with the Ministries of Environment. As simple as that. The JEF should become the financial mechanism for every single stakeholder which is part of the solution. And I'm talking the executive branch. I'm talking national congresses. I'm talking about subnational, working with governors and mayors, and yes, of course, working with civil society. The new JEF, looking into the future, should be a JEF that works and supports. When I say works and support, think on money, because this is the business of the JEF. When the JEF looks into the future, we need to work and support everyone who is part of the solution. So I'm super happy to be here celebrating this new project. What we've been doing with the Fondo Mexicano para la Conservación is incredible. The partnerships that we have been able to create in this effort to establish a national financial mechanism is something extremely important. Now Enduring Earth is taking this to the next level, to the global level. So I'm super delighted, even though we have challenges in the COPs with political issues. I think that the groundswell movement is very well reflected here. So thank you, Renee. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Greg, for being here at the JEF. We're delighted to be here. And trust on us, we will be doing our best of effort to really support every single stakeholder that is part of the solution so we can go nature positive. Muchas gracias, Renee.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Muy buenas noches a todas, a todos. Yo también, que viva México. ¿Verdad? Ya, ni hablar. Pero bueno, I'm turning to English, of course. I think I got late here, what, a month? Because you were in Mexico granting a project to the Ministry of Agriculture and saying that environment was not there, so it was good news. No, that was pésimas noticias, my darling. No. The thing is, we have to be all there. We discussed that already. Twisting your arm. No, but seriously, we come a long way with Carlos Manuel. Because when 1992, of course, the Rio Trio was there, and it was really the first time, I guess, that all the NGOs came into a UN conference, and that was because Maurice Strong, who I really want to pay tribute to, he opened up the conference, because before that it was only the ECOSOC, the this, the that. It was a lot of limitations for NGOs. We still have a lot of limitations. I think we should not have two places. We should not have the blue and the green and the red. Everybody should be in the same place, my view, anyway. But having said that, the next part of my story, I think, was to go to Costa Rica. And I see Costa Rica as a country I really love. My sons were almost going to stay there because they fell in love with many parts of Costa Rica and many people of Costa Rica, of course, no question about it. And it was difficult to leave the country, but we were so happy there, Manuel, and you were a wonderful player for me to learn what Costa Rica was doing. And environmental services was one of your main, I would say, contributions to the world, actually. And the view and the vision that Costa Rica has since then, I guess, is something that we really value very much in the world, and myself, indeed. And we re-encounter ourselves again in this wonderful opportunity, I guess, which is this Mexico 3030 project. And I want to thank Renee because she has been instrumental. Yes, we need to do that. Yes, absolutely. And Greg, I want to greet you as well. And Patricia, we have you with us here, of course, Patricia Zurita. And because indeed, I think that this is a teamwork, This kind of work cannot be done alone. Nobody can do it. And not even GF alone, not even us, the ministers, the ministries of environment are, as you very well know, Carlos Manuel, because you were also Minister of Environment, But in Costa Rica, the beauty is that you're Minister of Environment and Energy.
And mining.
And mining, ¿te imaginas? No, bueno. No, bueno. La locura. I know, it's like a big enchilada, ¿no? Esa sí está gruesa. Esa sí está, uf. Pero bueno, and he survived, so I hope I will survive myself. I don't have mining or energy, but I do have oceans, and I have a lot of things to do. And I want to say that for us, Mexico today, many people ask me, why did you go to environment? Isn't that a downscaling from being Minister of Foreign Affairs and being in the UN and being I don't know what? And I said, no. On the contrary, this is an upgrading because I want to bring the best I have learned in these many years of my life to this sector, you know? And to work with people, with you guys, with everybody, because there's no way. I mean, this is a very difficult job, and we know that, because to protect 30% of the territory in 2030, in times where urbanization is growing, where everybody wants infrastructure, when this is the time of roads and trains and I don't know what. So we are fighting against, I would say, a model of development that we need to change. And the only way to change this model of development is really to go profoundly in the causes, in the roots of what we want to do, and to make some critical decisions as communities and say, what do I want to do with this part of the world? And I'm going to put an example that I really like very much, and that's the Gulf of California, where Jacques Cousteau nominated the Gulf of California as the aquarium of the world. And it's true. But Mexico has to make a very hard decision. Do we want the Gulf of California to be a transit area of natural gas, or we want whales, or we want fish, or we want nature, and we want vaquitas, mi vida. Where is CITES? ¿Está aquí Yvonne? Ay, mamacita. Are you here? No, she's not here. CITES? Anyway, but the thing is, yes, I know, but the thing is, you know, that's the type of decisions, Abelardo, we have to make. You also are from Mexico, from communities. And that's why this 30 plus 30 is so important for us. And I want to thank Jeff, and I want to thank you, Rene, because you see, the thing is that in Mexico there was a little crisis with the funds, you know, and when they were private, that was even worse. So thanks to you, I guess we were able to overcome this period in which we need to bring more funding from partners like the GEF, like the USAID, like Conservation International, than everybody. Because this is a quest that we all have to build together. And the 30 plus 30 project for us means a lot. It's not only the money that is, which is of course important, why not? No, I mean, having said that, no. Of course, money from GF, money from USAID, but the target, we have to reach a target of $200 million, because if we want to protect the 30% of our territory with representative ecosystems, with connected ecosystems, we will need to do what just Carlos Manuel said. We need to have a management project. We need to have people in the ground. We need to have the community with us. We need to work with the local people. You know, we need to do so many things. So, and that is what we are aiming for with this project. With this project that Carlos Manuel, Greg, Terry Miller, you're also here. So, and we all have to work on this together. And we believe that if we are able to reach this 30%, that means 150 million hectáreas. ¿Cómo se traduce en acres? No idea, mi vida, pero ¿cuánto será en acres? I don't know, but it's 150 million hectáreas, you know? So, and the thing is that we need that money to do this. And up to now, we have 232 protected areas, which is fine, really. We will not be able to have so larger protected areas in the future because the territory is not enough. No more. We have almost all the territory is populated, has communities, has people, has cities, and that's why we are creating new figures of protected areas, of course, federal ones that are going to be 5, which you are going to help us with. And many of these protected areas are in Yucatan, in the peninsula of Yucatan, which is needing urgently restoration. And we want to have one of the main objectives of Claudia Sheinbaum, by the way, the first woman president in 200 years. Yes, 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 yes. So, and I mean, nothing against the wonderful men I have around me, but women, we can make a difference, and we have to make a difference, and that's what we are doing. And one thing I want to tell you is that, of course, to reach this target of 30% means that Mexico has to move from where we are now. We are around, what, 23% of terrestrial land protected areas, and 23% of marine areas, and like 14% of land areas. So can you imagine the amount of territory that we have to really move ahead and protect and restore? Because this is the other problem, that we have a lot of places that we need to restore. Rivers. 70% of the Mexican rivers are contaminated. So the president has given us the task to restore three rivers. And these three rivers are Lerma, Santiago, Tula, Atoyac, which are really very important at the heart of Mexico, really. So if we are able to restore these rivers and to bring back health to the community. Many of you have been in the green area. How many of you have been in the green area? Yes, because the green area is beautiful. And I'm sure you saw the river there. And that area, when I came a year ago to Cali, and I came with the President López Obrador. We were on our way to Chile. We came here in Cali to have a meeting. Cali was a city that was not so beautiful as it is today. And it was the COP of the people that transformed this city. So those of us who were in the Green City, I was there today, I think that we have hope that things can be done. And because when I went last to that part of the city, it was totally different. And so the river can be clean, the park can be recovered, the people can participate, so there is options and hope. So I really want to tell you that Mexico is the fifth mega diverse country in the world. And we are, actually in our country we have like 12% of the diversity of the world. It's a lot, really. So what we need to ensure is that what we are protecting with this project, and this project should be the seed. I see this project, Carlos Manuel, as a seed that we are sowing together, because that will bring, we have to attract not only more money, more partners, more people that can contribute to really pursue this wonderful objective of 30%, 30 times 30 for the 2030. And I want to recognize somebody in the room, and that is Xochitl Ramirez. I want to point you out there, Xochitl, please. Because Xochitl Ramirez has been a key person in Conavio. Everybody knows Conavio, right? So she's going to help me, together with Marina Robles, together with Camila, together with all of us that are here, to bring back all the institutional capacities that Mexico has in Conavio, in CONAFOR, in CONAMP. You are helping us with CONAMP, because this project goes precisely to CONAMP. And Xochitl Ramirez is in the Ministry of Agriculture. So she's our secret weapon she's our secret weapon in the Ministry of Agriculture. So what I'm saying this is because, not only because she's there, of course she's there, but the Minister of Agriculture, Julio Verdeguer, and I are making a deal, and we are making two very important agreements. One is when we're going to stop la frontera agropecuaria. How do you translate that? I don't know. Exactamente, the agricultural frontier. So we're going to stop it. No more livestock growing. If we have livestock, it has to be sustainable. They have to learn to live in the forest. Sorry for the cows, but they have to, learn how to live under the trees, punto. And that has to be the fact. So anyway, but we're going to work that with Xochitl Ramirez. And the other thing we're doing with agriculture, we're going to stop deforestation. And we're going to work on water. We're going to work on biodiversity. We're going to put, again, all the scientific evidence on the table together. So that's why the Ministry of Agriculture, you say it right, is going to be a key partner. The other one is energy, the Ministry of Energy. And she is a woman that also comes from environment. Luz Helena. Everybody knows Luz Helena Gomez. Oh, I don't know if everybody knows, but you will know her because she's very good. And she's going to help us to reach the NDC target. So NDC, climate change, biodiversity, all of this comes together. And finally, let me say that we need your help, Carlos Manuel, to do one very key thing, and that's how are we going to accompany the infrastructure projects? How can the environmental community be working together with the builders, with those who we want to build houses, those who want to build roads? We need to be together, you know, either to stop them, you know, sorry, well, not to stop them, but at least to redirect I would say these infrastructure projects to a sustainable approach. So once again, let me thank you so much, Carlos Manuel, not only because you are heading the GF, because it's in the hands of somebody that really knows. You said that he is a politician by choice, but what he's doing is beyond the political work. He's doing something that he knows about, that comes from his heart. And I want to thank you for that, because Mexico has been the first, I think the first, to benefit from this new approach. And I want to thank you so much for selecting us as a country that you are believing on. And Greg, you too, thank you to USAID. We have to make a good partner. We are going to be neighbors forever. I mean, come on. I mean, ni modo, you know. Anyway, so no, we have to do it right. Anyway, so thank you very much to everyone. I'm so pleased that everybody's here today. Thank you.
Hello? Testing? Good. We're good. No, thank you so much, Secretary Barza, for your leadership, and Carlos Manuel also. Thank you for hosting us today in this wonderful space. You seem to have like a casa llena wherever you go, because it's great to see so many friends and colleagues and partners, especially our local organizations and international partners that are here today. It's really a great demonstration of how we can work together to achieve our common goals. And we're certainly here to celebrate the launch of this 30 by 30 initiative by Mexico. It's really a groundbreaking effort in the work towards biodiversity and fighting against biodiversity loss, and obviously climate change, which all brings us to Cali this past 2 weeks. And obviously, as noted by the Secretary, Mexico's certainly played a leading role in conservation. It was part of the original coalition advocating for the goal to protect 30% of the world land and oceans by 2030. And really, congratulations to you, Secretary Barcena, for the great strides you've already made and President Sheinbaum's administration has made just in the first 100 days of your term in office so far. And really, thank you for your commitment, as you just noted, for conserving existing protected areas and expanding them, improving them, increasing the financing and collaboration that we need to ensure long-term sustainability. And obviously Mexico and the 30 by 30 initiative will serve as a really successful model for global conservation, and the United States is certainly extremely proud to partner with you and the government of Mexico and the GEF on this initiative. Also, big thanks to Renee Gonzalez and the team at the Fondo Mexicano para la Conservación de la Naturaleza. USAID has worked for decades with the Fondo and are certainly excited to continue that collaboration and partnership with this exciting program and really to help ensure the effective management of Mexico's naturally protected areas and obviously continue to expand on our partnership that we've built over the past several decades. And really thanks to Renee's leadership. Without that, we wouldn't be here today, certainly because of your vision, your team's effort, your collaboration with our team in Mexico City. Thank you so much, and really glad to be able to celebrate that here tonight in Cali. Also, we really want to appreciate the efforts of the Global Environment Facility, your foresight, your willingness to invest in this initiative, helping to bring it really from the idea stage to fruition as we're seeing today. Thrilled to partner with the GEF today, combining our resources and expertise to advance Mexico's nature, as well as bringing together partners today and certainly in the future as we work over the next several years to ensure the success of this partnership, and more importantly, to see those results on the ground across Mexico. Also really want to thank the COP16 organizers. I've only been here for a few short days, but as the Secretary noted and we've seen, this is really an amazing event that the government of Colombia and the city of Cali has put on. So much effort. I'm so impressed, and really I think we all notice, as you noted, Secretary, just the energy and the positive results that we're going to see from this event to conserve biodiversity. I really want to thank as well my colleagues from USAID Mexico out of Mexico City, Terry Miller, Preston Sharp, and Carla Toledo. They're at the forefront of this program, and we'll be working with our team back in Mexico City as well as our colleagues in Washington to make sure this is a success. And really, as you noted, we share so much more than just a border. Our economies and society and culture are really intertwined. You know, I grew up in Houston, very close, semi-close to the border, and know that personally. And really, we need to continue to help each other in times of need, and as well as natural disaster, as we've seen with Mexican firefighters in particular coming to the aid in the U.S. West during when several of the fire disasters that we've seen recently, as well as just a number of years ago, we had one of the few female firefighters in Mexico selected for USAID's program with the U.S. Forest Service and joined an elite team in California to be part of that firefighting crew. So really want to continue that enduring commitment to protect natural landscapes and our natural treasures. And I personally explored many of those in Mexico, the beautiful biodiverse areas like the Selva Maya. Also seen whales in Cabo San Lucas, swam with whale sharks in Isla Holbox, and looking forward to seeing more of those biodiverse areas in Mexico in the near future. And really our work will continue to play a role in this cooperation. For over 30 years, we've worked with the government of Mexico on your priorities and efforts through various programs and partnerships, including in biodiversity. We really helped spark what is now the Fondo Mexicano para la Conservación de la Naturaleza. As I mentioned, it's really now a cornerstone of conservation efforts in Mexico, as we can see here today. Also, our Red Plus program was supported by USAID and really contributed significantly to reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation, and really helped enhance forest management across Mexico. And now, as I mentioned, with the Selva Maya, we're working on providing sustainable livelihoods for families in southern Mexico and working in southern Mexico for economic opportunities for nearly 100,000 citizens while enhancing the management of over 1.5 million hectares in that southern region of Mexico. So very excited to work on this next chapter of our cooperation of Mexico's 30 by 30 commitment. And so today we're very proud to announce the launch of Calan, which means to care or to guard in the Yucatec Mayan language. And this new investment from the American people in southern Mexico will certainly include biodiversity conservation. And through the Calan program, we're really aiming to support Mexico's federal and state protected areas, as well as private land voluntarily designated for conservation in the Yucatan Peninsula and Tabasco. And over the course of 5 years, our results are intended to mobilize $180 million for conservation in Mexico, also improve 27 million hectares of high biodiversity areas under conservation, and improve protection over 80 at-risk species, and create a learning community among conservation areas and organizations. So really, this collective goal is certainly ambitious, but very doable. And we want to help Mexico put 27 million hectares under improved management and protect those 80 at-risk species as well. So we couldn't achieve these goals alone. We see this room today. That's a great sign to have additional collaboration with you in partnership with the government of Mexico, in partnership with the Fondo and the GEF, and so that we can see how we can get the best returns out of our collective investment. Really, Calan can serve as a catalyst for our shared Mexico 30 by 30 goals. And also, by achieving these targets will require additional cooperation and investment across several sectors, as well as collaboration with the government, civil society, multilateral institutions, and certainly the private sector as well, which we've seen across Cali over the course of the past several days. So really encourage private sector partners and international donors to really come forward, work with us, and contribute, such as the GEF has done already, as we've seen today. And the urgency of this issue really requires protecting biodiversity directly tied to the health of ecosystems, local communities, and economies. We have a lot of work to do, but this is a great sign this evening, and together we can honor our commitment preserving biodiversity and create a great future where Mexico's national treasures are protected and thriving. So this can be really our legacy for the earth, for the generations that follow, and a legacy that we will all be proud of supporting. So thank you for your time today, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Wow, this is really exciting. And as promised, we still have a little bit of a surprise. And just to frame this a little bit, as you saw, Carlos Manuel, representing the GF, is setting the seat. Thanks to also all the work from the implementing agency, Conservation International. Thank you so much. It's been always a pleasure to work with you. It's just very easy process, and always supporting in that GBFF marathon. That was, from 3 years of processing 10 years ago, now it took 3 months. And thank you so much for all that support. And we have a lot of other funders here. Green Climate Fund over there, Ben, thank you so much for all your support. We're working on that proposal that Graciela is putting together for next February. Thank you. Yucatan is coming. And we just have a lot of people that have been helping us through the years here. Marina, we're here to help whatever, our leader tells us. We're the financial mechanism here to support you. And Eduardo, representing the National Commission for Protected Areas. It's been a 27-year pleasure to work with you. But this, we set the stage, the seed is sown, the water is coming from the government, and we have some fertilizing coming from USAID. I'm a plant ecologist, you can tell, right? And so, but there's more to come. And so we have Enduring Earth. And so Zdenka Piskulic, a very, very dear friend of a lot of the conservation trust funds here. She leads a platform that's really interesting, and we're just going to sign a letter of intent, but Zdenka, please tell everybody about this little surprise.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Renee. First of all, thank you very much, Carlos Manuel Rodriguez. We have felt at home in this pavilion for the past 2 weeks. We eat here, we almost sleep here. And I just want to say something about this pavilion. This is the first time ever that this is a pavilion that is shared with all the conservation trust funds of the world who are using this pavilion as their home and for their events. It is the first time that as conservation trust funds, as civil society, have a place of their own. And that is due to you, Carlos Manuel, who have been such a strong supporter and advocate of conservation trust funds. And we're so very thankful for the work that you've done. Sad to mention. And thank you, Minister Bárcena, for being an inspiration. I remember as a student, I'm also from Costa Rica, and I remember when Rio 92 happened, and learning about you and seeing you as an inspiration, as a woman and as a leader, and it is a pleasure to be here on stage with you. And thank you to USAID also for being such a strong supporter of this project. I only have 1 minute because I'm the one keeping you from drinks and wine. So I want to be very quick. Tequila, I hope there's tequila. All I want to say is Enduring Earth is a platform of organizations, WWF, Pew, the Nature Conservancy, Zoma Lab, Bezos Earth Fund, the Global Environment Facility, and the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation. But more than just those organizations, it is a partnership of more than 200 organizations that are working together all over the world to help protect at least 500 million hectares of land in permanent financial mechanisms to guarantee their permanence over time. And we're very proud to see Mexico 30 by 30, which is in itself a sustainable finance mechanism that will allow for the permanence of the system in Mexico as well. And we have learned so much over the years, because one of the things we did this same week here in this pavilion is we signed a memorandum of understanding with REDLAC so that we can learn from each other. Because one thing is, Fondo Mexicano has been a mentor to so many other conservation trust funds around the world. I'm also proud to say that Renee Gonzalez is actually going to be president of REDLAC as of January of next year. And so 2026, January. She's, and Fondo Mexicano, this is credit due to Fondo Mexicano as a mentor to so many. And you are a mentor to Enduring Earth, and we hope to learn from each other. So what we want to do today is sign a letter of intent by which Fondo Mexicano and Enduring Earth and its partners will continue to learn from each other about the Project Finance for Permanence model. This is a model that we use and a tool that we're using around the world to help protect these hectares. We have, to date, protected over 90 million hectares in the past 3 years, and we will reach actually close to 200 million, hopefully by the end of this year, and almost 400 million hectares by the end of next year. So we are on track. We have high ambition, high hope. We can only do it with our partners, and we can only do it with organizations like Fondo Mexicano that has the vision, the commitment to make this happen hand in hand with government and with civil society, with indigenous peoples, with local communities. And this is going to be a reality. We will make it happen, and we are very proud to be partnering with you in knowledge management and in understanding how to do this the best way possible. Thank you very much.
So we're going to sign the letter of intent. Enduring Earth works with conservation trust funds, so we're the Mexican one, so we get to sign.